The situation in Haiti is and has been for a while really dire. More than 1 million Haitians have been internally displaced because of the violence at this point. Armed groups are continuing to enact horrific violence against the population.
We would love to welcome back to the show Kristina Freed from the Institute for Justice and Democracy in Haiti, albeit for rather dire circumstances. But either way, I want to thank you for taking the time to answer a few questions for us. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so temporary protected status. His administration is set to roll this back for Haitian immigrants, Venezuelans as well. But for today's context, Haitians, this is an immigration status, for those who don't know, that is designated to certain countries where essentially it's deemed dangerous for us to deport the nationals back to there. For Haiti, it's been in place since 2010 after the earthquake. Kristina, so before we speak to what ending this means for Haitians, could you maybe detail why exactly this status was so crucial for Haitian immigrants?
Yeah, absolutely. So temporary protected status, or TPS, basically allows Haitians that are already in the US or before a certain cutoff date to stay in the country. And it really provided a lifeline for a lot of Haitians that are already in the US. The situation in Haiti is and has been for a while really dire. The insecurity situation is horrific, as is the humanitarian situation, and it's undergoing a lot of instability in terms of governance. So for Haitians to be able to have protection in the US was really critical. And ensuring that they were able to benefit from TPS is really, it's just in line with US obligations in terms of not returning folks to a place where they would face that kind of danger.
Yeah, and obviously we've had you on the channel a few times now to help shed light on the dire situation in Haiti. Would you say that conditions there are better, the same, worse than when this status was given? What would you say the current status is?
Well, they're certainly not better. I would say they're the same, if not worse. Armed groups are continuing to enact horrific violence against the population. Recent attacks in Kenskoff, which is an area in the Port-au-Prince metropolitan area that has been thus far spared from a lot of the violence, is now being attacked and has been for the last couple of weeks. And it's really emblematic of the scale of violence in the Port-au-Prince metropolitan area. And it's violence that has really profound impacts on the whole country. So it's not as though, if Haitians are returned to a different part of the country, they're going to be just fine. It has consequences across the entire country, especially in terms of the humanitarian situation, but also in terms of internal displacement. More than 1 million Haitians have been internally displaced because of the violence at this point. A lot of them are forced to leave the capital and go to other areas that are already, overburdened in terms of resources. So it's a really dire situation. The levels of hunger are unprecedented. And it has not gotten better.
So, and not only to what you spoke to, but if I remember from our interviews, I believe it was over 5,000 Haitians last year that were killed. I know that gang violence is up, like sexual violence is up, things like that. So it should go without saying, but could you kind of put into a picture what exactly this means for Haitians to lose this crucial protection in America?
Yeah, well, so for Haitians who lose their temporary protected status, it puts them at risk of deportation back to Haiti. And what that means is that they're being potentially deported to a country where they don't have, a social support network. Many of them have not been there for a long time, possibly their whole lives. They're coming to a country possibly alone with very few resources, to a country that is undergoing a horrific insecurity and humanitarian crisis. The Port-au-Prince airport has been closed for several months now, and it was closed earlier last year as well. So the only flights that are going to the north of Haiti, to Cap Haitien, which is a city that's really struggling right now in terms of the humanitarian situation, really overburdened by internal displacement, but also, environmental issues. And so for them then to return to, the areas where they're actually from in Haiti or where their families might live entails going across areas controlled by armed groups. It's a dangerous and sometimes expensive journey that folks are not able to undertake, and at the same time, there aren't the resources to support them staying in Cap Haitien. And for many of them, they might not even have homes to return to if their families have been displaced by the armed group violence. So it's a really difficult situation that they're returning to. One that the U.S. has no business returning them to. And there's also grossly insufficient humanitarian aid for returnees, for folks who are deported back to Haiti.
Yeah, and that was kind of getting into what I wanted. The last question I wanted to ask you was kind of just what it means for Haiti with them already struggling, economically. There's already the food insecurity. Do they even have the infrastructure where the numbers are up to 500,000 Haitians could possibly be under this status now revoked? Obviously, they probably wouldn't all be deported like on one flight, but like you don't know what the number could be. Does Haiti even have the infrastructure with the struggles it's already having to take in these people if they were forced to do so?
We can see that it really doesn't. Deportation flights from the US have been going for the past year and longer. And we've already been seeing reporting about how the folks who are being deported to Haiti are really struggling. Like I said, they don't have, humanitarian support when they arrive there. They're not able to rejoin their families, or if they do, it's a really dangerous journey for them to take to do so. And that's just, a few flights a month, shall we say, or one flight a month. And so if the U.S. were to start deporting Haitians in bigger numbers, with the cancellation of TPS, if Haiti was unable to provide adequate support for the ones who have been returned thus far, it certainly is not going to be able to provide support for the people who are going to be returned because of the TPS cancellation.
Well, Kristina, thank you again for taking time to speak with us. Let's just hope this gets blocked in the courts or something of the sorts, or they revoke it. And I promise one of these days we'll have you on for positive stuff, not always negative, sad things.
I hope so, but thank you for having me on nonetheless.
Awesome. Yes. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.